Hi, and welcome back to the final section of the webinar. So we're going to finish off by looking at how we can go further with social media marketing. So looking at using insights and social media advertising. So we'll start with insights then. So what do we mean when we talk about insights? The dictionary defines insight as the capacity to gain an accurate and deeper understanding of someone or something. So simply put, then social media insights are a tool that uses data to give us that deeper and more accurate understanding of how your social media activity is performing. So you could gain insights into things like who you're reaching and engaging with your activity, and so also who you're not reaching or engaging, and other things like how well your posts are performing, perhaps what type of content is working well for you, and what channels or platforms are performing best, and so on. So there's obvious benefit to having that insight into your work. Firstly, it keeps you aligned with your strategy. So that means keeping on track of your goals, but also making sure you're reaching that target audience. And beyond that, insights also give you the opportunity to adjust and improve or to learn something that you didn't know. So you might assume you're reaching the right audience, but perhaps you're not getting the response to your post that you'd expect that audience to give you. Well, the data will tell you. Actually, it might show you that you're not reaching the audience in the first place, and that was just an assumption. But that data will also give you like the knowledge and the power to learn and adjust, right? And data like this can also help inform like wider decisions. So perhaps you'll learn something about your audience on social media that could determine the kind of activities that you run at your hub. And it could also be a helpful way of providing evidence, like of evidence of your reach or of your audience, or perhaps even evidence of like a need for specific investment, maybe that you could then use in your reports to funders or supporters. So it could be, a really useful tool. And all the social media platforms that we've talked about in this webinar offer insights. So Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook all have ways for you to access that data. But for this section, I am just going to focus in on one. So we'll look more closely at Facebook. So let's take a look. So Facebook Insights is a kind of analytics dashboard, I guess, that allows you to understand your audience and to track user behavior and content performance on your Facebook page. And you can access your insights when you're logged into your page. You'll see there's a left-hand menu, and we'll use this menu now to sort of navigate around a few of these different tools. So let's imagine we've clicked on Insights there then. And in here, you'll see a sort of basic overview of your page's performance, usually just over the last 28 days. And as an overview, this can be really handy. So you can see things like the total reached engagements of your posts in that 4-week period, and like how many new likes or followers you've earned. So this will tell you the rate that your page is growing. So good to know, especially when you're starting out. But you could also see like a breakdown of the kind of engagement your page is getting. So reactions, things like post likes and so on, but also comments, shares and clicks. And you can go further and see a breakdown for each individual post, where you can see impressions, reach and engagement there. By the way, if reach is, as I've said, like the number of people that have seen your post, and impressions is like how many times your posts have been seen. So impressions is usually higher than reach, as some people might have seen it more than once, if you understand what I mean. You could also in here see a breakdown of your Facebook audience. So those people that are following or liking your page and seeing and engaging with your content. And this can be broken down in lots of different ways, including age, gender, education, location, and activities or interests. So, when you wrote your strategy and you set out your target audience, you can use this information to see if that's who's engaging with you on Facebook. So it's really helpful. But I've just put a note here that you do need to be able to see this data. You need to have at least 100 page followers. So if you're just starting out, you'll need to build your following a bit first. That's something to bear in mind. And that's kind of insights on a very basic level, but you can go a bit deeper still if you want to by using the Meta Business Suite. So Meta, by the way, is just the new name of the company that run Facebook. But if you click on here down the bottom there on your left-hand menu, you'll be able to access an insights dashboard with a few more tools and some nice charts and so on. So for example, in here, this could be quite helpful. I use this quite a lot. You could view your data by a custom date. So, you know, if you don't want to see like the full sort of last 28 days worth of data, but you just want to see like the last 2 weeks, or you want to see maybe data over a 3-month period, you can do that. You can sort of change how you view your data. And you could also in here export your data. So this is really helpful if you then want to write a report or you want to share it with others in your group. You know, you can sort of take it out of Facebook if you like, save it as a spreadsheet or a PDF, that kind of thing. And you know, as I said, this is like a really quick overview, but hopefully you can see like what's available to you and how that could be helpful. And there is a good FAQ on Facebook's help pages, which I've linked here. So again, you know, if you're just starting out with this and you want to explore further, this is a good resource for you. Lots of simple sort of questions and answers that will help you if you get stuck with anything. So then let's turn now to social media advertising. And as with Insights, you can access advertising tools on all the platforms we spoke about earlier, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, but we'll continue to stick with Facebook for this. So social media advertising is helpful if you need to get on top of your goals more quickly. You know, working your social media accounts in the usual way, thinking up and posting content, you know, to help you reach and engage your audience could take a lot of time and effort. And advertising can just be like a quick and easy way to boost that effort. So it could be helpful if you need to cut through quickly. Say if you have an event coming up and you need to get tickets sold fast, you might want to think about using this as this is an option for you. It could also be helpful if you want to boost your follower count or target your audience more accurately. Perhaps you know, based on what you learned from your insights, you know, you need to retarget that audience, get the right people to like your page and so on. And so it could be really useful, and I'll just sort of show you briefly how you might set up an ad on Facebook. So we're back to our menu again. So this is when you're logged into your page, there's a menu on the left-hand side, and this time we're going to click on Create Ads. But I've made a big note here that before you jump into this, remember to check back on your strategy. So make sure, especially, that you're clear on those first 3 steps of your strategy. So goals, what exactly and really specifically are you trying to achieve here? So is this advert about, you know, getting people to an event? Is this about growing your Facebook followers? You'll be really clear at this stage what you're trying to do. Think about exactly who you're trying to reach. Who do you want to respond to this advert? And also this is about resource and in terms of budget, financial budget, right? How much are you going to spend on this advert? You will also need to think about how are you paying for this? So you will need to link a payment card to your account to pay for your ad. So is that a card for your group that you have, or is someone paying for this and you're going to pay them back? Make sure you're, you know, really clear about all of that before you go ahead. But once you are clear, this is a really easy process actually, and it's really, really effective. So the process is kind of just like filling out a form, right? So to begin with, you write a description, basically what you want your advert to say. You could choose an image for your ad, or you could choose multiple images. You could even use film here. You could write a headline, and you could choose your call to action. So what do you want people to do when they see this advert? They'll click a button on your advert, and you could decide that button will mean that they'll either like your page, so it's a page like button. They'll learn more, perhaps by going to a page on your website that you specify, or it could be book tickets, and they kind of confirm a booking on your Facebook event, perhaps. So you can write your ad out here and decide all of those different things, but you can also decide, instead of creating an advert from scratch, you could kind of boost a post. So this will bring up all of the copy and images from a post that you've already put on your page, and it will just kind of populate here. So this is good if, say, you have an event, right? So you've already posted your event on your page. You could just boost that post and run it as an advert. So if you did that, that would sort of populate the creative of your advert. So once you've got sort of the basics of your ad ready, and whether it's one you've created from scratch or if you're boosting an existing post, you can then define your audience. So you can let Facebook define your audience by selecting the advantage audience. And here Facebook will sort of target people based on who have already shown interest in your page or your content, and it will find people like them. So that could be really good. But remember, if you've learned perhaps from your insights that you're not reaching your target audience, and the purpose of this advert is to go and find the right people, then you might want to define your audience here. So you could do that by choosing people through targeting. And this option will let you set a location. So geographically, where are you targeting people? You know, perhaps it's sort of within a 2-mile radius of your venue. You could also select the age range of your target audience, the gender, the activities and interests, and so on. And whenever you do that, you can save that audience so that you can target the same group again if you need to in the future. So if you're running another ad in a couple of months' time, say, you can use that saved audience. So that's quite a handy tool as well. Next, it's budget and timings. So you can set when your advert will run until, so from now until a particular date. So that'll be over a number of days. And you can choose how much you'll spend each day. So here in this example, I'm running an advert for 7 days and I'm committing to £3 a day. That means I'm going to spend £21. So remember that, because it can be quite confusing. And that's the anatomy of a Facebook ad. So you can decide what it says, what the goal is, your call to action. You decide who it's for, who you're targeting, how much you'll spend, and how long it will run for. And before you sort of go ahead and run your ad, you could also see, this is quite handy, you could see like the estimated results from your advert. So this will kind of show you like how many people you're likely to reach with this particular ad. And you can actually like play around with some of your settings and see how that might change your estimated results. So if you adjust your target audience, perhaps you sort of broaden that radius out a bit further, or you adjust your budget, you know, maybe it's a little bit more or it's over a shorter period of time, then your estimated reach will adjust. So you could kind of play around with that until you're happy with, you know, what you'll get from this advert. And then off you go, you click promote now. It usually takes a little while for Facebook to kind of just check that ad, but like a minute, like an hour, you know, maybe not long. And then it starts to run. And then just to sort of bring this sort of full circle, you can check how that ad is doing and view the results in terms of like the insights, right? So you can see how many people it reached, how many people clicked on it, that kind of thing. And you can, you know, sort of deep dive that in your insights. You can see the type of engagement you got from that advert, sort of who saw it, and so on. So it's so you can learn from those adverts in the same way that you can learn from the posts and so on through your insights. And again, I'm saying that was a very brief overview, but hopefully it's kind of given you an idea, I guess, of what's possible. It's really easy to do. Just remember what your budget is, why you're doing it, what your goals are, and so on. And if you want to look at this further, I've included another link for you here. And so that brings me to the end of the webinar. So to wrap up and review what we've been through, in part 1, we talked about, you know, what social media is and how it can help green community hubs like yours to reach, engage, and build a community online. And we looked at 3 different platforms. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and I signposted to information about how you could get started on any of those. And then in part 2, we discussed social media strategy and content planning, and we explored the benefits of having a strategy and went through how to write one. Did the same for content planning, and I shared some templates that you can use. And then in this last part, we've looked at using data and insights to help you learn, adjust, and improve your efforts with social media, and how you might go about using social media advertising. So finally, I did say I'd finish with some little bonus tips. So we'll wrap up with those. And these are just like a few other kind of thoughts and tips that I've picked up along the way, or advice that other people have given to me, which I could pass on to you. So firstly, this is like a really practical tip about having trusted admins. So it's really important, right? So I think I touched on this a bit in part 2 when we talked about resources. So who in your group is running your social media? And is it just one person? And if so, do you have a backup? Because you need to think about what happens if that person moves on. What about passwords and so on? It's helpful to think of passwords in the same way that you would consider like a set of keys for your venue. So who gets to have a set of keys? You know, it's rarely just one person, but it's also rarely everyone. So give that some careful thought. Next, and this is something that I see quite a lot of actually, just remember to complete your profile details as fully as possible on social media, and especially on Facebook actually. In part 1, I mentioned how a Facebook page can act as a kind of website almost for your hub. And this is because it contains lots of information such as like location, opening times, if you have them, contact details, and so on. And all this information is indexed by search engines, right? So if someone's Googling you, your information will come up so long as you've provided it, so long as you've completed it in the kind of setup of your account. So it's, you know, make sure you do that. It's there for a reason, basically. And also, if you're using multiple accounts, if those are multiple platforms, so if you're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so on, you know, you'll probably be sharing content slightly differently on each platform, if that makes sense. But remember to stay consistent in terms of your sort of profile. So this is about sort of building brand awareness, basically. Make sure that you know, your name, the description of your organization, the profile photo are consistent, visually consistent across different platforms. This will just help build like awareness and recognition as people find you in different ways. And then a couple of sort of more fun tips, I guess. So first of all, don't forget to be social, right? So it's social media, it's a two-way process. Just like join in. So I don't just mean join into the conversation on your pages that you're managing, but also maybe join other groups, like other pages, you know, that are similar to you, and make contributions to discussions or share your work, and find a community, because through that you'll find inspiration as well. You know, it could be really great actually. You'll find sort of like-minded people, perhaps people who are also running green hubs like you, have similar problems to you. You could kind of share and sort of talk those through. It could be really great. And then finally, be authentic. So this is just a point, I guess, that people kind of see through inauthentic communications. So, you know, if you don't post just because you feel like you have to. If there's nothing going on, that's fine. You know, don't sort of go kind of scratching around for things that you think people want to hear. It should come from you, your work, your green hub. You know, you're probably involved in a green community hub because you're passionate about it, and you know and you understand like the intrinsic value of what you do, and you just need to really let that joy and that enthusiasm and that passion shine through in your content, because that enthusiasm is contagious, right? That will really help your page grow and really help you build a community around it. So here we are then at the end of the webinar, and all that's left for me is to thank you for joining. I hope it's been helpful. The presentation has been recorded and will be online along with links, all the links and resources that I shared. So that'll all be on the Northern Network website. And there are plenty of other resources on there too, and our sort of bank of resources will continue to grow over time. So, keep checking back. We've got more sessions like these coming up as well, so look out for them. If you're not already a member of the network, you can join for free. Just follow the links on the website. You'll then get email updates whenever there are new events and resources. And members also have the ability to share their own work. So we're always looking for news stories or case studies from other green hubs. So you can use the network to connect with others, but also share and celebrate your own work. And then, of course, it would be sort of pretty poor form for me at the end of a social media presentation to not tell you to follow and like, comment and share on our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and I've put our @name and hashtag on the screen there, or just search for the Northern Network. And that's it. So thanks again. Perhaps I'll see you at another session soon. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.